I'm recording the webinar for references, and in case participants are absent today and they want to see the webinar and understand more. So with your permission, I'm recording this. So please do accept it. You might get a pop-up on your screen. So this is in the public domain, so there's nothing confidential which needs to be not recorded. Having said that, as I said, BYLD is the largest group offering value-added service in HR, leadership development, business operations, staffing, technology, executive coaching, and organizational development. Also, we're very proud to say that we have tie-ups with global brands when it comes to human sciences and behavioral sciences. We have tie-ups with the Ken Blanchard group of companies, which is a company from the US, very famous in terms of situational leadership too. Many of you might have heard of Ken Blanchard. Vital Smarts, now it is known as Crucial Learning, which again, a signature program from Vital Smarts offerings is Crucial Conversations, the most popular and highly demand kind of a program which helps in terms of chiseling your skills around difficult, tough conversations. Wiley, which is what we are going to be talking today. Wiley Everything DiSC is again a company from the US and world leaders when it comes to psychometric assessments and various tools or applications around everything DiSC as a model. Eagles Flight, again a company from Canada, which is world leader when it comes to experiential learning, and virtual immersive learning was also the capability we have, and many other brands which you see on your screen here. So with that, I kind of start the webinar today. Before we start, Wiley Everything DiSC and 5 behaviors is what is the product portfolio we have. So plenty of applications basis the DiSC model, workplace management, work of leaders, 363, excellent tool for executive coaching and getting a panoramic view of 360 degrees, feedback from various raters who kind of rate you to where you are on the approach as far as leadership qualities are concerned. Everything DiSC sales is what we're going to be talking today. We also have an assessment by the name of productive conflict, agile EQ, which is a measure as far as emotional quotient is concerned. Listening profile, how good a listener you are, what are the different styles of listening. And also Wiley has a tie-up with Patrick Lencioni, it's a company by the name of Table Group based out of US. Again, must have heard of the book 5 Dysfunctions of a Team, 5 Behaviors of a Dysfunctional Team, beg your pardon, which is written by Patrick Lencioni. So that has been converted into a training program. So these are the various programs which we have in the portfolio as far as everything DiSC is concerned. So moving on, how many of you are aware of the DiSC model? If you could just give me some kind of heads up, that would be helpful for me to kind of see where we are. So anyone familiar with the psychometric tool DiSC?
Amar, I am not aware.
Okay, thank you for that. Anyone else who's aware, not aware?
I'm not aware.
All right, then, okay, got it. So basically, everything DiSC has been in existence. It's a psychometric tool which helps you to measure your cognitive abilities and your personality style, which is based on these 4, alphabets which you see D, I, S, and C. So we'll be talking about it a little bit more in depth today. The DiSC model talks to you about 4 different personality styles. And just a second, please. And basically, you have D, which is dominating style of personality. This person is dominating, very result-driven, and very action-oriented. I is a person who's very enthusiastic by nature and also believes in relationship and collaboration and so on and so forth. S's are people who are steady by nature, who are quite in terms of sincerity, relationships, and dependability is very high. And when it comes to a C, who is cautious by nature, believes in competencies and quality and also dependability. This is how the 4 personality styles are concerned. What we say when we do the psychometric assessment, which is launched online, that you may have 1 or 2 personality styles. You may have a primary style followed by a secondary style. And basically, a person is a combination of all of these four. But however, you get a highlight as to what is your primary style and a secondary style. So that's the basic as far as the DiSC model is concerned. I would request participants to please mute if they're not talking. Thanks. So what is the basis is that, we launched the assessment online, and the concerned person or the participant undergoes the assessment, which will take you hardly about 15 to 20 minutes and helps you to understand what is your style as far as the DiSC model is concerned, what are your strengths, and what are the areas which you need to be mindful of, and how it kind of helps to have customer centricity, one of the main skills of a salesperson, right? I mean, I have been in sales for the last 25 years now, so I understand that. So basically, what it says is provide salespeople with skills to adapt customers' preferences and expectations. And that's exactly what we want in sales, that we are able to match and meet the expectations as far as our clients are concerned. I have a video here, which I would like to showcase. This will set the foundation as far as everything this model is.
Of all the human mysteries, the mind of the salesperson is perhaps the greatest. Well, maybe not the greatest, but it has to be up there. What motivates these people? What drives them? The answer, of course, is that it depends. Each salesperson offers different things to their customers. Unfortunately, it's easy to presume that the areas you prioritize in your sales are the most important. That every customer prioritizes the same things as you do. Both customers and salespeople have all sorts of different needs that are sometimes so hidden they might not even be aware of them. How do you get your head around all of this scattered information? Well, you do the same thing you do anytime you're lost. You look for a map. In this case, it's a map of human nature. A map that illustrates the broad landscape of psychological expectations and needs that our customers have without ever telling us. And maybe more important, a map of all the different ways that we as salespeople go about trying to meet those needs and expectations. This is the DiSC Sales Map. DiSC, used for decades to understand different customer styles, it can also be used to help salespeople understand their unique approach to the sales process. Now, in the big picture, there are 4 different sales approaches here: D, I, S, and C. To start, let's move to the D region of the DiSC sales map. The D, or dominant sales style, is confident, assertive, and direct. These salespeople put a strong priority on getting results, showing customers how they can improve their bottom line. In addition, they prioritize competency, letting customers know that they will deliver what they promise. And finally, these salespeople prioritize action. Their bold and convincing style creates a sense of urgency, giving customers confidence that they can get things rolling quickly and easily. Take a look.
This is really going to improve your bottom line. You'll see results immediately.
Your company can handle all of this.
Oh yeah, we'll take care of everything for you. You won't need to lift a finger.
Sounds great, but I need to have it done in the next 5 months. Is that doable?
How about in the next 5 seconds?
This is the...
Surveys from each of your divisions and full transcripts, summarized with recommendations for improvement, categorize, like we talked about.
Results, competency, and action. Good D salespeople leave the customer with the impression that they will simply get the job done. No beating around the bush. Now, to the east. This is the I, or influence, sales style. These folks are energetic, high-spirited, and outgoing. They put a priority on enthusiasm, getting customers energized about all of the exciting opportunities they have to offer. And they also prioritize action, with a dynamic and inspiring energy that helps customers see how quickly they can get moving on those new opportunities. And finally, they place a priority on relationships, showing customers that they care about getting to know them as people rather than just as quick sales opportunities. Here.
Oh yeah, we'll have this up and running in a matter of weeks. You know, you're really gonna love it. It's gonna make your life so much easier. I remember when we first got it installed, you know, you're excited because you wanna try something new, but really it's the convenience. The amount of time it saved me, and I know how busy you are.
Well, I really appreciate you spending all this time with me on it.
Oh no, of course. You know, and let me know if you ever make it up north. I'd be happy to recommend some restaurants to you.
Oh, great, sounds good.
Enthusiasm, action, and relationships. Good eye salespeople come across as personable and fun, and they energize the customer to act. Now, as we move south on the map, this is the S, or steadiness, sales style. These salespeople are even-tempered, accommodating, and agreeable. In particular, they prioritize sincerity, letting customers know that they genuinely care about their concerns and needs. Similarly, these salespeople also prioritize relationships, taking the time to get to know the customer on a personal level. And finally, because these salespeople have a bit of a cautious side themselves, they prioritize the dependability of their offering. They're willing to take the time to patiently go through the details step by step and show customers that they'll be there to support them long after the sale is done. Here.
So these are the options that are left open, and you don't have to decide on them right now. If you want to pick them up a month from now, just give me a call.
That sounds good.
And really, any concerns you have or questions in a related area, even if it's a year down the road, feel free to call me at any time.
You've already been incredibly helpful.
Oh, not a problem.
Sincerity, relationships, and dependability. Good S salespeople leave the customer feeling like they've connected with someone who cares about them and will be there for them down the line. And finally, as we drift to the west, this is the C, or conscientiousness sales style. These salespeople are methodical, logical, and place a high value on accuracy. Consequently, they tend to prioritize quality and will use facts to back up their claims. In a similar vein, they prioritize dependability, showing customers that what they offer is a good, stable, long-term decision. They also place a priority on their competency, giving customers faith that they know their business and have expertise in their field. Take a quick look.
Yeah, that's a good unit, but I think you might have problems with it in the long run, given that your usage is pretty high.
All right.
There are 3 or 4 options I can walk you through, and these are the numbers you'll want to pay attention to.
Sure.
This model will provide the minimum of what you need.
And the model number on that one is?
TR-842. It's a good, consistent performer. Not as much flexibility as some of the others, but I've had a lot of experience with this one, and it covers the basics.
Quality, dependability, and competency. Good C salespeople often come across as knowledgeable experts who customers can trust to get things right. Now, in the real world, it's not always that simple. You can be between 2 styles, such as in the area between I and S. And you can have 4 or even 5 priorities. For example, in addition to enthusiasm, relationships, and sincerity, you might also share the priority of quality with the C style. So this is our map, illustrating the 4 different selling styles, D, I, S, and C, each with its own unique strengths and talents. And by showing us where we fit on the map, it also highlights the selling styles that we could use more frequently if the situation called for it. And with this knowledge, you can find new ways to connect better with your customers.
Okay. Any comments? Any points to be made? Was it clear enough in terms of the introduction to the DiSC sales profile, the different personality styles one may have. I mean, it can be two styles. I can be a D followed by an I, or an I followed by an S, or a C followed by a D, or that's the kind of different combinations when one gets through. So maybe while you're going through this presentation or the webinar, something might be going at the back of your mind where you might be thinking as to what would be your personality style. Some of you may see to be very direct and very result driven. Some people believe in relationships. Some people believe in analytical and logical approach. Some people believe in accommodation and collaboration. So we have different styles and personality styles as well as the model of DiSC is concerned. What does everything DiSC sales profile by and large cover? Is basically we can have it. It's a training program which is for about 4 to 6 hours. Can be virtual as well as face-to-face. We can make it happen in both the formats or the modality which is available. Is helping the people, especially the sales people, to kind of create more customer-centric interactions that help in terms of both two things by and large. One is the results and the other is the relationship management, which is the key to success as far as sales and business development is concerned. This also helps the participants to stretch beyond their natural style. What I mean to say when natural style is, say, for example, I'm an I followed by a D kind of a guy who is very enthusiastic, who believes in talking more. And say, for I'm meeting a customer who is very dominating and result driven and doesn't want to waste his time. So how do I adapt and flex my style dealing with that kind of a customer? What are my do's? What are my don'ts? Say, for example, I'm dealing with a customer who is very data driven, who is less talkative, introvert by nature, and believes in data sciences and a logical conclusion for him to come to a decision as far as the purchase is concerned. How do I deal with him given my personality style? So actually, if you very rationally understand, it is also built up in terms of self-awareness of one style, which would be natural, and how you can be more effective to adapt to customer style and preferences, regardless of the style of buying as far as the customer is concerned. Needless to say, salespeople become more effective in terms of their approach in this particular program. By how, as I said, it helps them to understand better their customers better and the relationships better. I'll be also kind of navigating through the assessment reports, which we have. Once you do the psychometric assessment, you get a personalized report pertaining to that particular participant. And it's a very detailed report, which is 23 pages and gives you a lot of insights and meaning as to what things you need to do and what you need to be mindful of. So we'll be kind of, after finishing the PowerPoint and the basic introduction, we'll be going through the assessment and the sample reports. And we have different types of reports which comes through. It is fantastic for an individual as a salesperson and also for the team. Say, for example, you are VP sales or a regional manager sales, and you have a team of 15 or 20 odd people in your team. It also throws up the culture and the dynamics as far as the working culture of that particular team is concerned. So I'll be kind of sharing those information. At the same time, I'm also mindful of the time, so I'll be kind of only touching the highlights or the main things which I need to cover in this session. In the interim, if you are interested, my colleagues Charu and Swarnali are kind of posting their email IDs and mobile numbers. So you can always reach out to them and seek more information. We'll be happy to share the information in terms of overview and products and all those things. All right. Am I making sense? Can I have a thumbs up from the team here? Is it going good for you? Anyone? Excellent. So I got Abhishek, Spandan saying yes. Fantastic. So moving on. Everything DiSC basically, if I have to kind of give you the snapshot summary, is understanding your style. And the biggest step which we need to take in whatever field we are is, who am I? What is my level of self-awareness? So it's a great tool in terms of emotional intelligence also to build self-awareness as far as you're concerned, recognizing and understanding your customers' buying styles and flexing and adapting your style to kind of coincide as far as your customer is concerned. And that's the four major takeaways as far as this particular program is concerned. So, you have customer interaction map, which I will show you in a minute on the PDF file. Now, before I switch on the video, here is a classic example of two different personality styles coming together. The salesperson is a I, who is influential by nature. Influential people are extroverts, talkative, and very action-oriented and believe in enthusiasm, excited. Some people do call them social butterflies. And the customer on the other side is a very dominating kind of a personality style who's very result-driven, cut the clutter, come to the point, tell me what does it take. But the beauty is that if you're able to handle a dominating kind of a customer in a particular fashion, you get the outcomes or the desired results faster. But how are you ready to flex your style is what this whole program is all about. This video should give you the gist or the hang of what I'm trying to say. And it's articulated very well in this video. So ladies and gentlemen, the video for you.
The DiSC map does a great job at helping us understand the dynamics between salespeople and their customers. Here, for example, we have a salesperson who tends strongly toward the I style. She's very outgoing, lively, and talkative. The customer, on the other hand, tends toward the D style. She's very direct, strong-willed, and results-oriented. So, let's take a look at how these two styles might naturally interact.
Oh, the traffic was so heavy, but thanks for meeting with me on such short notice.
Not a problem. Thanks for coming in.
Of course, you've got a much bigger operation here than I thought.
Well, we're always growing.
So how many people do you have here?
Oh, around 80 or 90.
Really? Well, how long have you been in this location?
About 6 months.
Yeah, this is a really nice area. My husband and I actually looked at houses a couple blocks from here a couple years ago.
No kidding.
Yeah, we both heard really good things about the school district, and we both love the parks. We take our son here about 2 or 3 times a month. It's just absolutely beautiful.
I'll pause here and ask a question to all the participants. What's happening here in the video? The salesperson is a very talkative person, right? And what is the body language and the reaction of this lady in the black dress? How is she reacting to it? Any suggestions, any comments? Is she liking the conversation?
No, doesn't seem to like.
Yeah, because she is very result driven and wants the answers to her questions or to queries. And that's where the mismatch of personality styles comes in. We are not aware of many things which happens in customer interactions. I do get a lot of questions, saying that what is the best style as far as sales is concerned? Well, there's nothing known as best or worst. It's about flexing and adapting yourself to kind of different customer requirements. And that's how the interactions and the relationships improve. That's the beauty. Now continue watching this video and we'll kind of, discuss this a little bit more in depth.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so you were going to show me some samples of the layout?
Yeah, I didn't draw up samples. I figured you've been doing this a long time. You don't need me to spell anything out for you.
So what did you bring in?
I thought we'd sketch some things out, play around with some ideas.
Obviously, there's a little bit of tension here. Even though both of these people have an active, outspoken nature, our D customer cares a lot more about bottom-line results. She wants to work with a competent person who gets down to business. As you can tell, she doesn't have a lot of time for chit-chat. Now, our I salesperson wants to build enthusiasm and a relationship. But this is irritating our D customer, and at worst, may feel manipulative to her. She's getting more and more impatient. So, let's see how this salesperson might do a better job adapting to her customer. Knowing that her customer focuses on action, results, and competency, she cuts through the small talk and gets right to the customer's immediate needs. Let's take a look.
Thanks for meeting with me on such short notice.
Not a problem. Thanks for coming in.
Oh, of course. You've got a pretty big operation here.
Yeah, we're always growing.
Well, from the looks of it, you've got to be pretty busy.
Always.
Well, thanks again for having me, and I don't want to take up too much of your time.
Sure.
Now, I know you have a general sense of what we offer, but if you don't mind, maybe we could spend the first couple of minutes just getting a better feel for what you need and the kind of results you're looking for.
Sounds good.
You see the difference in terms of the approach, where she kind of understood the requirement of a D. Similarly, your customer can be an I, your customer can be an S or a C for that matter. And how do you kind of go about it? So my second section, as far as the webinar today, is to kind of navigate you and give you key highlights as to how the psychometric assessment looks like and what are the main takeaways for the participants and also for the group of people or the team. As I said, say for example, you're the sales head and you have a team of 15, 20 people. Collectively, you're doing this assessment. What does that mean? How does it pan out? Stuff like that. So that's what I'm going to end up discussing once I finish with my PowerPoint.
The DiSC map.
So these are the kind of reports you'll be getting as I've shown it to you. Your personalized, customized report for yourself. Team view, group culture, comparison. Yes, sounds a little bit Greek and Latin to all of us right now. But once I start sharing the PDFs, you'll understand what I mean. And I keep repeating for the sake of retaliation that, in case you have any questions, please unmute, ask. If you don't want to talk, you can register your comments or your questions in the chat box. My colleagues will kind of synthesize the same for me. Okay, so with that, I'm stopping here and going to the PDFs, which I promised you guys. Starting off first with the report. This is a sample report. So this is an illustration, which comes up. But basically, you see this is a 25-page detailed, customized report for this person by the name of Taylor. And what does it have? It starts off with the cornerstone principles of everything DiSC sales. They're saying that all styles are equal and valuable, and everyone is a blend of all four styles, as I said at the start of the webinar today. Your DiSC style is also influenced by other factors such as life experiences, education, maturity. When you were a kid, at the time, the formative age, your social surrounding, your schooling, your college, your family, your friends, all those things have an influence or a bearing as far as your DiSC style is concerned. And I also mentioned that understanding yourself better is the first step in becoming more effective. So it helps you to understand who you are, what are your strengths, and what are the areas which you might like to be mindful of and have a kind of a development plan for yourself. Learning about others' DiSC styles can also help you to understand their priorities as to what they need and how they may differ from your own. Now, of course, ultimately it helps in terms of effective relationships, and the bottom line, which all of us want, is closures as far as business deals are concerned. That's the basic outcome. So it starts off with the model here and gives you the fundamental premise and the overview of the DiSC model. As I said, D, I, and C, S. What does dominating mean or dominance is? How influencing is steadiness and cautiousness or conscientiousness is analytical. This is a very precise, private. You might have different kind of customers on day-to-day basis. I do get questions that, does it really help on virtual platforms? The answer is yes, of course. You get to know the style of your client or your customer as to who he or she is. And then you kind of see how best you can kind of flex your style. Moving on, it also starts off with the DiSC here, and the black dot is as far as this person's personality style is concerned, where Taylor is a C followed by a D. And it gives you an overview as to what the dot means. Basically, the black dot, if it is closer to the edge of the circle, then that style is very, very prominent and strong. If it is somewhere here in the middle, then it's moderate. And if it is coming towards the center, then it is less moderate or not so strong, is what the whole premise is. Gives you a detailed breakdown as to what is the CD style all about. Your dot tells you a story, your efficient, no-nonsense approach to your work, because he here is CD kind of a person. So very result oriented, competency driven, analytical by nature, and gives you a whole description about this person. Talks to you about what are the various shadings and priorities he may have. Like in this case, quality, competency, and results are very, very prominent. And also the shading is stretching towards dependability, which is an unusual characteristic of a CD. It also mentions that here, you know. So what priorities shape your sales experience? So this guy is fantastic in displaying competencies, ensuring quality. That means he's very organized, meticulous, planned, result driven, also kind of emphasizing on dependability, which is another great virtue for a salesperson. Here it is. Now, what are the strengths as far as this gentleman is concerned? Now, how do you excel as a salesperson? What are the sales strengths which you have? Clearly, competency, results, quality, and dependability. And it also kind of helps the person in terms of personal effectiveness as to what are the possible challenges this guy may have. What is difficult for you as a salesperson? Gives you the whole details. You may identify following statements, action. I sometimes take the process too slowly because they're very cautious by nature, C people. So they tend to analyze things a little bit over sometimes. So if I'm mindful, if I'm a C, that I kind of slow down, and I'm especially dealing with a D kind of a customer or an I kind of a customer, it will not go very well with them. The conversation will start going south. So that's the kind of improvement areas or the challenges which comes here. How do I manage my relationship given that I'm very task driven and result driven? Sometimes I forget interpersonal skills or my relationship management as far as my clients are concerned. What do I need to do? Enthusiasm, so on and so forth. Then the report goes on to talk to you about the buying styles as far as customers are concerned. Very much detailed as to what a D style is, what is there on their mind, how they like to have the conversation. Same for I, S, and C style of people. And then what is the buying style as far as a D is concerned? What are some behaviors that can help you identify D style customers? Now, these are some, behaviors which you may see on day-to-day basis. Sometimes you may kind of catch it like this. They are very result driven, no nonsense, fast, action oriented, willingness to take risk, impatience with small talk, tough minded, quick and decisive. And that's also, it kind of helps, because if you're dealing with a D kind of a customer, the decision is very fast because they believe in that. Now, to you, people with D style seem to be driven, rash, and forceful and strong-willed. This is what a person with CD style may seem that, D people are very rude or, very egoistic by nature, but that's not the fact, because that person's personality style is such that he is driven by results. And then the details around it as to what does it mean. Similarly, if you're dealing with an I type of a customer, what does an I kind of a customer, like, positive outlook, friendly demeanor, considering others' feeling, eagerness to meet people, tendencies to make small talk. So you are aware of the I kind of a person. And similarly for C and S kind of people, if you see C kind of person, a customer of yours, the professional, slow, very methodical, avoidance of emotional expressions, discomfort with small talk or personal questions. So it helps you to become more mindful and aware of your customer's style, your personality style, and helps you chisel in terms of the relationship which you want to kind of have and going. What drives these style customers? Bottom line results drive them. They expect competency. They want fast and action oriented discussions. Similarly, what drives an I style customer, S style customer, C style customer, and again, how do you adapt to different customers, finding the common ground? Like, say, for example, from D to S, how do I kind of move? I'm moving fast. I want to pause here. In case you're interested in the sample report, please just put your email IDs in the chat box, and my colleague Swarnali can share this report with you for your reading and for further references in case. So you can say just yes in the chat box, and you can put it there. So learning to adapt, how can you adapt? So the lot of details goes in there. I'm not going into the details at the moment. Yes, Bhakti, you have a question.
Yeah, Amar, I was just keen to know whether, once the psychometric test is done and the results are with us, so your team will train us on how a particular, like in my team, I have about, our team, we have about 8 to 9 people. So different people come with different styles. And through this training, we'll get to know how to adapt to different kind of behaviors of, or different styles of customers. Is that right?
That's right.
So it'll be an entire package.
Yeah, I mean, you can have different, approaches.
Components.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can have a full-blown training for your entire team where, I
Okay.
can kind of do the training for 4 to 6 hours on the virtual platform. Some people say that the assessment report is good enough for us. Just do the debrief of the report for 2 hours and we are good to go. Some people get certified in this program.
Okay.
And they internalize this program, they localize this program within their organization. So you have different approaches which you can kind of select what is best suited as far as your good company is concerned.
Sure. No, this answers it. Also, another one that I wanted to know, definitely you will have, a lot of creative ways to train all of us. But in our case, especially because we are working, our product is pretty different than a general sales product. So would you have some kind of role plays where, we in the team, one can become a client and the other a customer or something similar, so that, it is understood better by everybody?
Yes, we see, as I said, 4 to 6 hours is the format of this training program.
Sure.
So what happens is that, people kind of book for 3 hours for day 1 and 3 hours for day 2, because they don't want 6 hours of continuous rundown. As such, the span of attention, thanks to Uncle COVID, has reduced, and we have so much to stress. So we can stitch it, we can customize it. So we have A, B, and C. So A is a salesperson, B is the client, and C is the observer.
Okay, sure.
So the observer is watching both of them and understanding, what are their misses and what are they, coming together, and then give a feedback, and then we move on. Yeah.
Right, sure.
So we do have those options of breakout rooms on the virtual platform where we put 3 participants in each breakout room, and they kind of have this. So it's very defined.
Excellent.
It's very,
Excellent.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Sure, thanks.
So moving on, thanks Bhakti for asking, and I appreciate, keep asking me those questions. It also keeps me motivated and driven rather. Given that, I'm a D followed by an I kind of a style as far as my DiSC style is concerned. So very direct and result orientation is too high here. Adapting to D style customers, I style customers. So this report is very, very detailed and comprehensive. I don't have much time to kind of walk you through everything. This is interesting. Also, you can have the customer interaction mapping. Say, for example, your customer is fast-paced and outspoken, or he or she is cautious or reflective. That's step 1. Then you have step 2. Your customer may be who asks you a lot of questions and skeptical by nature, or is he or she accepting and warm? Step 3, now combine your customer's tendencies to determine her or his DiSC style. Obviously, you will not be doing the DiSC assessment for your customer to know where she is on this circle, but you come up with an assumption. And then you come up with an action plan, in terms of what are your customer priorities, what are your priorities, which is natural to you and which least natural to you, so on and so forth. Excellent tool, even for your counseling sessions, coaching sessions, individual development plans, as far as salespeople are concerned, getting the customer centricity at the center of discussions. So great way of personalizing and looking at personal effectiveness as far as a salesperson is concerned. What steps will you take? So very detailed. And of course, it ends with the overview of the model of DiSC. The more you read the report, the more details, obviously, you'll get it. Very quickly, being mindful of the time, now the magic starts. Now, say, for example, Bhakti and me are fellow colleagues and working on a particular project which is high stakes. So I need to know what is Bhakti's natural style, what's her strength. She needs to know what is my style, Bhakti, I'm just taking an example of yours. I hope that's fine with you. Otherwise,
Yeah. Sure, I'm the lucky one.
yeah. So here, when you see Gracie is working with Alex. Now, what does this report do? It helps you to collaborate. It helps you to reduce conflicts and have productive discussions, and how we both can work together to win that major $1 million account for that matter. How does the magic work? Look here. Now, model is here. I'm not going into this. Here it is. Now, Gracie is a black dot. She is a C. Alex is an S, who believes in collaboration, support, and enthusiasm, whereas Gracie believes in accuracy and stability and challenge. You see, the styles are so different and contrasting. Can they work together? The answer is yes. Can they be a successful duo to win this $1 million project? The answer is yes. But they need to be mindful of each other. So how? So this is how it works. Typically, C style, you focus on accuracy, stability, and blah, blah, blah. As far as a typical of Alex's style, who's SI, believes in collaborating, enthusiasm, and he also focuses on accuracy sometimes. So discover, there is the continuum here, the behavioral continuum, what you see here. Two extremes, daring and careful. Alex is pretty daring, whereas Gracie is very careful. Again, the contrast. What's the beauty? If I'm aware that Gracie is careful, and if Gracie is aware that Amar is or Alex is very daring, then they come on a common ground or a mid ground to kind of work together. And then the magic starts happening in terms of, because I'm mindful of your personality style, you're mindful of my personality style. So this is the comparison report which gets pulled out. A lot of details here. Potential roadblocks or conflicts. So you can avoid the roadblocks. What are the benefits? So what is the synergy as far as these two fellow colleagues are concerned, working on a particular project? Tips for working with Alex. Skeptical, where you are, outgoing and private. And again, the contrast here, you see, Alex is outgoing and Gracie is private. Introvert versus extrovert, two of them working together. So it is a good team, because I talk a lot. Gracie kind of pulls me down and says, come to the point and, focus here. So it's a good combination to work with. So these are the things which kind of gets thrown out as far as the comparison report is concerned. So in a team of 10 or 15 people, you can have comparison report with each one of them. So I have, say, for example, 15 people in my team. So Amar with A, Amar with B, Amar with C, and so on and so forth. The combinations are very much possible, and we can pull out those reports for you. All right. Then the last page here is reflection and dialogue. Kind of, again, a great tool in terms of self-development and personal effectiveness. Moving a little bit fast because of the time. Here it is. Say, for example, you have a sales head and a group of 10 people or 15 people. This is a sample report for 17. And it goes on with the introduction and talks to you about, what is culture and why group culture is so important. Great tool and a reflection tool for the sales head working with his or her team for that matter. How? Here it is. Now you see, say for example, there's a VP sales and he has a team of 15 people or 17 people. This map gives you the distribution of different personality styles within the team. And it goes on to tell you how many percent, 24% of this team are in D, 18 are in I style, 18 are in S style, and 41 of them are in C style, which means what? If I'm a D kind of a leader, I'm very fast and outspoken, I need to be mindful of that I do have people in C and S style who are slow, who are introverts, who need details and logic for them to kind of have the buy-in, because buy-in is key to commitment. And once you have the commitment going amongst the team, then only you can have the accountability discussions in case something is violated or the deadlines are missed. So that's the beauty as far as this program is concerned. So we do a lot of detailing in the workshops, which we kind of conduct, as I said, for 4 to 6 hours. Now, it also goes on to tell you, 24, as I said, the distribution in terms of percentage as far as the team dynamics is concerned. You see this, D, result, action, challenge, I is this, but you have a mix of all kind of people here. So as a team leader, you need to be mindful and sensitive to take care of people's motivations. Now, what does the D culture mean? What are the advantages of a D culture? What are the drawbacks as far as D culture is concerned? And what are the issues the team needs to consider? Working in D culture, what does that mean? What are the issues to be considered? Again, I culture, drawbacks and advantages. Working in I culture. Similarly, for S culture, C culture. That's the team culture report. Now, when you are able to do this program and complete the training, you guys can sit down as a team and say, okay, this is the combination as far as different personality styles are concerned. How do we kind of go about it? And which is the best suited culture which we need to adapt to? And that's the discussion the team leader has along with his team members. And we as trainers or facilitators, we kind of facilitate that conversation and kind of come to an actionable or an action plan as to what are the next steps to be taken. So that was the team culture report. So far, I have shown 3 reports to you. Personalized assessment for yourself, comparison report between A and B and any combinations, sample report as far as the dynamics of the team culture is concerned. The 4th is the preparation sheet in case you are going to meet a high-stake customer, important project, and you have to prepare and understand what's his or her personality style. This is what we call the customer interaction map. So, of course, here you're making an assumption. This is what I showed, fast or slow, analytical or enthusiastic, and then coming to a possible scientific way of assumption, saying that, what, this lady, Samantha, is a D and I am a C. Means what? So what are the strategies I need to be mindful and prepared before I enter the meeting room to get this big $1 million order? So it's a strategies for interaction, be focused on the results, move towards definitive action, prove your competency, so on and so forth. So these are the different reports. As I said previously, anyone interested in these reports, please just type on the chat and we'll share it with you. With that, more or less, we are coming to the end of the webinar today because that's the time I have. We are already at about 3:55. So any questions, I'll stop and pause for a while. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me and I'll try to answer them. Thank you.
It was quite interesting, Amar. I'll definitely take this back to our larger team. Let me also understand, get their views. And I think your colleague has shared the email with us already. So that was pretty quick. Thank you so much. And I'll be in touch with your team.
Thank you, Bhakti. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much. Thanks.
Anyone else? Any other questions? Any chit chat, formal, informal? We are fine. We can be here for another 5-6 minutes.
Amar, I'm getting into another meeting at 4 o'clock. So will it be okay if I leave?
Please, please, please.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thanks a lot. Bye. Good day.
Bye-bye.